हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गायै नमः। ओम श्री रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। भवानी शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धा विश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धा स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वतीपतये हर हर महादेव। Hari Om, Hari Om. So Bhagwan described Kshetra in detail, and thereafter he spoke about the 20 values, and then Bhagwan indicated the Kshetrajna as Brahma. So the Kshetrajna is expression of Bhagwan's Prakriti only, Para Prakriti. Kshetrajna is Bhagwan himself, and Kshetra is expression of Bhagwan's Apara Prakriti. So this Para and Apara Prakriti itself expresses as this world with all the jivas. So Bhagwan says that Prakriti and this Purusha are anadi. Prakritim Purushan Cheva Vidhi Anadi Ubhav Api. So this world and all the jivas are anadi, means beginningless, means they were always there, means they are nitya. Because Ishvara is nitya, so Ishvara's Prakriti is also nitya, an expression of this Prakriti is also nitya. So the world which we see is constantly changing, but still it is nitya. Therefore it is called asatya, means changing existence. But this Purusha is not changing, remains same, because Purusha is Sakshat, that Brahma only. But due to ignorance, this Purusha considers itself as a limited jiva, as the karta, bhokta, jnata. So I, in the waking state, experiences myself as the doer, enjoyer, knower. So that I experiences this due to, or considers myself limited due to avidya. So this avidya is also anadi. So when we, following the guidance of the teacher in the scripture, come to realize ourselves as that Brahma, we become free from this anadi avidya and become free from this samsara. So due to this avidya, the Purusha identifies with the Prakriti. Though there is no sambandha, Purusha is totally different. We experience ourselves absolutely separated from the world, from the gross body as well as the subtle body in our deep sleep state, but still in waking we identify with the body, gross body and the subtle body due to avidya. So that is what is called as sitting. The Purusha seated in Prakriti experiences the joys and sorrows. Purusha prakristho hi bhunte prakriti jan gunan karanam guna sangosya sadasad yoni janmasu. And this identification itself becomes the cause for taking birth again and again in higher and lower forms. One may become the Devatas also, or one may become animal, bird, plant, or we may be born again as a human being. and we continue to experience the samsara. So who becomes free of this samsara? Those who recognize themselves as Brahma become free. So the world continues to exist, all the jivas continue to exist, but many jivas gain knowledge of their self and become free. So even when lots and lots of beings get liberated, the infinite jivas still remain. Causal body is avidya, not part of prakriti. Causal body is avidya rupa. This avidya, not knowing ourselves, is also called causal body. So, when we come to recognize ourselves, this causal body or avidya gets eliminated and we become free of this samsara. So who is this Purusha? Who am I? That Bhagavan had mentioned before also in so many verses. He indicated that I as Brahma, Anadi, Mat Param Brahma, Nasat Tanna Saduchyate. In this way he had explained. But since this Purusha is very subtle to recognize, Bhagavan again in the next verse indicates this Purusha. So let us chant verse number 22. Upadrashtanumanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwarah paramatmeti chapyuktah dehesmin purusha parah. So asmin dehe, in this body we experience our own presence. We don't experience our presence without the body. We experience our presence in this body. We experience the waking, we experience the dream, we experience the deep sleep. So I say, I am awake, I was dreaming, I was asleep. So I experience I, that Purusha, that Kshetrajna, in this body. Asmin Dehesmin Purusha, in this body, that Purusha is experienced. See, the Jagrat person who knows, who is awake in the experiencing waking, he is not available in dream. And the dreamer is not available in deep sleep. The deep sleeper is not available in dream and waking. But that the deep sleeper, that is the real Kshetrajna, who is Brahma, is present everywhere. Is present in the waking, present in the dream, present in the deep sleep, and is present beyond the body also. The existence of Brahma doesn't depend on the body. The existence of Brahma doesn't depend on our gross body or the subtle body. But at present we are recognizing that Brahma with respect to this body only. When we become separated from the body in deep sleep, we are totally unaware. We are neither aware of ourselves, nor are we aware of our body, nor are we aware of the world. In dream, we are aware of the the Sukshma, the Antakarana. In waking, we are aware of our gross body and this world also. So in the waking itself, we have to recognize ourselves as Brahma in this body. Dehesmin. So Bhagwan here gives certain lakshanas, indicators of that Brahma as this Purusha. So these are interesting indicators Bhagwan gives in this verse. He says this Purusha is present in this body as Upadrashta. Upadrashta, Anumanta, Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwaraha, Paramatma. 6 indicators Bhagwan has given. So he says it's a Upadrashta. Upadrashta means what? Samipastha san drashta swayam avyapruta yata ritvik yajamaneshu yajna karma vyapruteshu tatastha anya avyapruto yajna vidya kushala. Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji writes कि this Upadrashta means Samipastha. It is, this Purusha is very, very close to us. Is very close. Close to us means is ourself only. Is very, very close. And being close, he observes everything, is witness of everything. Is a close witness of everything. Upadrashta. And just witnessing without getting involved in the activities. Shankaracharya ji writes, like in a yajna, there are those purohits who perform yajna, but there is this main purohit who knows everything, but he just remains there as a drashta, as a witness, doesn't do anything. Similarly, this Purusha who exists in this body is a witness of the activities of the body, of the activities of the senses, activities of the mind, the intellect. He remains as a drashta of all this without getting involved. It's like he's a sakshi. Upadrashta, just witnessing all the activities. Or Upadrashta also means who is the innermost seer. See, when I look at this world, I see the world through my eyes. So the eyes become the seer of this world. But within the eyes is our mind. So the mind becomes the seer of my eyes. Even if there is some problem with the eye, the mind understands it, knows it. So mind is an inner seer. But the mind is also understood by our intellect. The intellect has got the capacity to understand and analyze our mind also. The intellect can say, oh, I am becoming emotional, oh, this thought is coming, this emotion is troubling me. So the intellect can analyze the mind. So intellect is the seer of the mind. But the intellect is also the thoughts and the vrittis of the intellect. They are also seen, they are also known. So there is a witness who is witnessing even the intellect. See, I know, whatever I know, and that is known through the intellect, but I also know what I don't know. Certain things I don't know, I say I don't know. So the knowing and not knowing is happening in the intellect, but both these are witnessed by the Purusha. So Purusha is inside the buddhi also. So is the innermost witness. Therefore is called Upadrashta. Upa means near, innermost. So Upadrashta. The Purusha is Upadrashta. The Purusha is indicated here through these words. So with the help of these words, we have to meditate on that Purusha. So meditation is only, the supreme meditation is only one. Meditate on this Purusha as Brahma. Meditate on the Kshetrajna. Purusha, Kshetrajna, Antaratma, Pratyakatma, all are synonyms. In different contexts, different words are used, but they are synonyms. So this Antaratma, Purusha, Kshetrajna is said here as a Upadrashta, is just a witness. So in the world also, who is called a witness? Who has seen something but is not involved with that. Suppose there is an accident on the road, so two cars they collide with each other on the crossing. So then there is this witness, he is asked, did you see this accident? He said, yes. Did you see that car coming and crossing this road when the red light was on? He said, yes. And thereafter this other car was there and it got hit. So this witness is there who is just standing there and observing. He is neither involved with the person in this car nor involved with the person in the other car. He is just a witness. Similarly, this Purusha is just a witness of all the activities happening in this body, in the mind, in the senses. कुछ नहीं करते लेकिन देखते हैं. Knows everything. Is a witness of everything. So Upadrashta. Then Anumanta is also Anumanta, is indicated as Anumanta. Anumanta means approver. He approves. He doesn't object to any activities. Though he is witness, he is all the time present. He knows. Suppose a person tries to put his finger in the fire, this witness knows, but he will not stop. He will not object. He will approve that. Okay, you want to put your finger in fire? Very good. Go ahead. Be my guest. So it's called Anumanta. Anumanta, who approves. और अथवा अनुमंता कार्यकरण प्रवृत्तिषु स्वयं अप्रवृत्तः अपि प्रवृत्त इव तद अनुकूलो विभाव्यते. And though he himself is not acting, he appears, this Purusha appears to be acting through the senses, through the mind, approving as though all the activities of the mind, the senses. We have seen before also that though Sarvendriya, what you call Sarvendriya Gunabhasam, Sarvendriya Vivarjitam. This Kshetrajna, Purusha, appears through all, functioning as though through all the senses, but really free from all senses. same thing is said here. He appears to be functioning through the senses, the mind, without objecting, means approving all the activities. Therefore, he is called Anumanta. He doesn't stop, he doesn't prevent, he doesn't object. He is there as a witness of everything, good, bad, indifferent, whatever. See, just like we have a CCTV camera is there, let us say, which is put on our outside our house. So there are some people, our guest comes, so the camera sees that. But a thief comes, that also is seen by the camera. The thief tries to break open the lock, the camera sees it, doesn't object. He sees it. He knows what is happening, but he doesn't object. Just an example. The camera may not know. Later on, when we see the footage, we come to know. But here, the Purusha is like a witness, like a CCTV camera. He observes, knows everything, but doesn't object to anything. So therefore, he is called Anumanta, approver, gives permission for all the activities. Jo karna hai karo. Doesn't get involved. But he is also Bharta. Bharta means Bharan Poshan karne wale. He is the one who nourishes. Means the Deha, Indriya, Mana, Buddhi, all of them, they work. And why are they working? Ultimately, all of them are working for the sake of this Purusha only. Shankaracharya ji writes कि भरणम नाम देहेन्द्रिय मनोबुद्धीनां संहतानां चैतन्य आत्म पारार्थेन निमित्त भूतेन चैतन्य आभासानां यत् स्वरूप धारणं तत् चैतन्य आत्मकृतम एव इति भर्ता. Long sentence. Bhagavan says that all these senses, the Deha, the Indriya, the Mana, the Buddhi, for whom are they working non-stop? For the sake of Purusha only. If the Purusha leaves this body, the body falls down dead, body will not work. Malik chhod ke chale gaye, so body will not work, senses will not work, mind, intellect will not work. They are all working for the Purusha. And not only they are working for Purusha, but they are getting nourished by the Purusha. The existence of the Purusha, the Chaitanya of the Purusha nourishes the body, the mind, intellect. Because of the Chaitanya, the consciousness, the Chaitanya of the Purusha, the senses seems to be conscious, the mind seems to be conscious, the intellect seems to be conscious. And they work for the sake of the Purusha. See, just like the sun is bright and brilliant. And when we see the reflection of the sun in the waters, that reflection also is seen as bright and brilliant. Water otherwise is not brilliant. Water doesn't have a light of its own. But because of the reflection of the sun, the water also looks luminous. So getting the luminosity from the sun, the water illumines the surrounding objects. Similarly, getting the luminosity from this Purusha, the senses, the mind, the intellect, they get nourished and they do their respective work for the sake of this Purusha. So since this Purusha nourishes them, supports them, so he is also called Bharta. And through the body, through the senses, through the buddhi, the Purusha alone seems to be also enjoying, though he is not the enjoyer. but he seems to be enjoying through the senses, through the buddhi, through the mind. Therefore, he is indicated as bhokta. Himself is not a bhokta. The deha, indriya, they are not working for their own sake. They are working for the sake of Purusha. So the Purusha alone appears to be enjoying through all of them, but himself is not a enjoyer in his supreme nature. So he is indicated here as a bhokta, enjoyer. But is not bound to the body, is not bound to the senses, is not a samsari. That Purusha is present in all the bodies. Therefore, he is indicated here in the next word as Maheshwaraha. Maheshwaraha, Mahan Ishwaraha. Why? Sarvatmatvad, because he is the Atma of all beings. Being the self of all beings, he controls all the beings. Therefore, he is called Maheshwaraha. That Purusha is that Ishvara himself, is the Mahan Ishvara himself, the one who is present in all the bodies and who controls all the bodies and who controls everything, who is the master of everything. Therefore, he is called Maheshwaraha. And his Swatantratvat is also independent, not dependent on anything. His existence is independent. So Mahan Ishvaraha Chaiti Maheshwaraha. So see, first it was indicated as Upadrashta, the witness, Anumanta, the one who approves, then Bharta, one who nourishes, one who appears to be enjoying bhokta through all the senses, but really is Maheshwaraha, is the Mahan Ishvara. And who is this Mahan Ishvara? Is that Sakshat, that Paramatma only. So Paramatma, Dehadinam Buddhyantanam Pratyak Atmatvena Kalpitanam Avidyaya Param Upadrashtatvat Upadrashtatvadi Lakshana Atma iti Paramatma. That Atma, that Purusha who is indicated as Upadrashta, Anumanta and all, is that Param Atma, the Sakshat Brahma, Supreme Atma, Sakshat Brahma, our own self. So in our waking, with a alert and a pure and wise mind, we have to locate this self, this Purusha, and gain abidance in that Purusha. Totally surrender to that Purusha. And where is that Purusha present? Dehismin Purusha Paraha, in this body itself. With the help of this body itself, we recognize that Purusha. See, like the what you call, in science also we talk about the gravity. The gravity is experience. We experience gravitational pull on this earth. If we go on other planet also, we will experience that gravitational pull. If the planet is small, we will experience a lesser pull. If the planet is huge, we will experience more pull. So we experience the gravity with respect to the planet But that gravity is present even where there is no planet. It is present everywhere. It is that which is holding all the galaxies and all also together in its own way. Similarly, now we are experiencing this Purusha in this body, but it is not really connected to this body. But with the help of this body, we have to recognize that Purusha, who is really that Param Atma, that Brahma. So Paramatmeti cha api yuktah uktah dehesmin Purusha paraha. This Purusha dehesmin is paraha. Paraha means beyond everything. It transcends the Prakriti, it transcends everything. It is paraha. It is beyond the Prakriti also. It is beyond everything. Therefore, it is called paraha. So, indicating this Purusha in this way, Upadrashta cha, Bhagavan says we have to recognize this Purusha as our own self. Now we are identifying ourselves as a jiva, as a karta bhokta jnata. It is a false notion. I am neither the karta nor bhokta nor jnata. This I know from my experience of deep sleep also. But in the waking, again I do the adhyas and consider myself as karta, bhokta, jnata. So while awake, I have to recognize myself as free from this notion of karta, bhokta, jnata, that I am that param purusha. Usko khoj lo and gain abidance in your own this supreme self. This is the final step. This is the ultimate thing which we have to do in order to become free of this samsara. We have to recognize this Purusha as Brahma. So such a person will become free. That is what now Bhagavan says in the next verse. He says, Ya evam vetti purusham prakritincha gunaih saha sarvatha vartamanopi nasabhuyo bhijayate. Bhagavan says that yaha, he who, he, she, whoever, the spiritual seeker, he who evam vetti purusham, he who knows this Purusha in this way. Evam. We know the Purusha wrongly now. But Bhagavan says one who knows this Purusha in this way. Evam. Evam means upadrashta anumanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwaraha paramatma. One who knows this Purusha ultimately as Paramatma, Purusha Paraha, beyond all. That Param Atma, that Brahma, one who knows, recognizes this Purusha as Brahma, ya evam vetti Purusham, Prakritincha Gunais Saha, one who knows this Purusha along with the Prakriti and the Gunas of Prakriti. Along with the Prakriti and the Gunas of Prakriti, a person who knows in this way, Bhagavan says, Sarvatha Vartamanopi Nasabhuyo Vidyayate. Living in this world in whatever way, means according to whatever his way of living before attaining this knowledge. Everyone has got their own dharma. So according to their own dharma they are living. Or even if a person has taken sannyas, so he is following that sannyas dharma. So in whatever way a person is having his way of life, sarvatha vartamanopi, in all his in the way in which that person is living, Bhagavan says, once this prarabdha is over, the body gets dropped, and nasa bhuyo bhi jayate, this person is not born again. I mean, there is no more birth, there is no more samsara to this jiva. He has become free, has gained that liberation. So again we will try to contemplate on this verse. So Bhagavan says, ya evam vetti purusham prakritincha gunais saha. See, there are these three factors we have seen. Kshetra, Kshetrajna, and that Brahma. Ishvara, who is Brahma. So Kshetra, Kshetrajna, and Brahma. So Bhagavan talked about Kshetra and the knower of Kshetra, Kshetrajna, and then he said, I myself am the Kshetrajna in all the bodies. And before he had said that he alone is the Kshetra also. So now at present, through this body when I observe, I see the world different from me. I know about Ishvara from the scriptures. So I know myself as a karta, bhokta, jnata, jiva. I know this world, and I know Ishvara or Brahma as said in the Shastra. Okay. So when I, with the help of the Shastra, first I separate myself from this Kshetra and recognize myself as that Kshetrajna, as that Purusha, separate from this gross body, subtle body, from this world, that Purusha. Then understand that Purusha as Brahma. And once I understand Purusha as Brahma, then seated in Brahma, when I look, I come to understand that this Prakriti is also myself and all the beings are also myself. Seated in Brahma, when I look at this world, I have what we call the Sarvatma Bhav. That I myself am the self of all beings. This is called Sarvatma Bhav. This is said in the Upanishads also. A self-realized person sees his own self as the self of all, and he sees everything in his own self. Sarva bhutastham atmanam sarva bhutani cha atmani pashyati. Sarvatma bhav. So when I seated in Brahma, when I look, means from the standpoint of myself as Brahma, when I see the body continues to exist. The world continues to exist. With self-realization, the world doesn't disappear. The body doesn't disappear. Because the world is expression of Prakriti, not avidya. The body is also expression of Prakriti, not avidya. Avidya gets negated through self-knowledge, not Prakriti. Prakriti is Bhagavan's Prakriti only. It doesn't get destroyed. So now, in the state of ignorance, we identify with this Prakriti, identify and understand ourselves as a limited being and look. But once we realize ourselves as Brahma, then seated in Brahma, from the standpoint of Brahma, when I look at all beings, then what do I understand? that all these beings are myself. And when I look at Prakriti along with its gunas, what do I see? I see that Prakriti also as myself. It's very, very interesting actually. So this self-realized person gains Sarvatma Bhav, and seeing the Prakriti as myself, the whole Prakriti as though merges into him. So that is what is called in the Shastra as Prakriti Vilaya. The Prakriti gets dissolved into him. Prakriti gets dissolved means he sees everything as his own self. Not only the beings, but the world also. Therefore, there is no prapancha for the self-realized person. There is no samsara, because there is no dvaita of any kind. Though through this body he continues seeing this world, but there is no, he knows everything as Brahma only, so there is no experience of dvaita. Prapanchopashamam shantam shivam advaitam chaturtham manyante sa atma sa vidneyaha. He recognizes that Atma, that Turiya Atma as Brahma, in which there is no prapancha, there is no samsara, there is no dvaita. Everything is his own self. That's what Bhagavan is telling here. Ki this self-realized person who recognizes this Purusha as his, how he recognizes Purusha? As his own self, Sakshat Ahamiti, that this Purusha is myself. This Paramatma, Maheshwaraha, Paramatma, that Purusha is myself. And this Prakriti also he recognizes as his own self. That avidya which was there get dissolved. So only the play of Prakriti is there, without avidya. See, when Ishvara looks at this world, he can see the world, but there is no avidya in Ishvara. Similarly, the enlightened person, he sees the world, he experiences, he sees all the multiplicity, but he knows everything is that Brahma alone. So, evam vetti purusham prakritincha gunaisaha sa sarvatha vartamanopi, though he is living in whatever way. He can be a grahasti also, can be a brahmachari, can be a vanaprasthi, can be a sannyasi, or can be an atyashrami. Totally atyashrami, not following any ashrama also. So, sarvatha vartamanopi nasa bhuyo vijayate. See, with self-knowledge, the body doesn't fall down. With self-knowledge, he doesn't die. There is no death. The body continues to exist till the prarabdha of the body is there. The body was born due to prarabdha and will continue to exist till the end of this prarabdha. So he continues to live. But once the body gets dropped, he is not born again. All his karmas get wiped out. All his karmas get negated. The agami, the sanchita, the prarabdha, all karmas get negated once this body gets dropped. But as long as this body is there, the prarabdha karma continues to express. Because this body is the result of prarabdha. The body is the result of that karma which is called prarabdha, and this body will continue to exist till that prarabdha is there. And once the prarabdha gets exhausted, it gets dropped. So just as we switch on the fan, it moves. It rotates due to the power of that electricity. The fan continues to rotate. But when you switch off the electricity, the fan should stop. But no, it continues to rotate. Why it is rotating? Due to that momentum. There is no electricity there to power that fan. But the momentum which was created because of the electricity, it continues to be there, and then it will stop ultimately. Similarly, all the activities in this world are prompted by our ignorance, but once the ignorance gets eliminated, all our karmas get wiped out. But except the prarabdha karma, because it has already started, so it continues to express. And ultimately, once it gets exhausted, the body will drop. And that enlightened person will not be born again, because not only his gross body gets disintegrated and merges with the total prakriti, but his sukshma sharir also disintegrates and merges into the totality. So there is no sukshma sharir to take birth again. So a self-realized person is Brahma only, Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. So Nasa Bhuyo Bhijayate is not born again. In the commentary, Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji discusses this thing very elaborately, because there are some people who object that, if he is not born again, then what will happen to all the karmas which he has performed in his past lives, sanchita karma? And what will happen to the karmas which he has performed before he got enlightened? Because if any karmas are performed, they should give result. If they are not giving result, then people will not have faith in karmas. Or the Shastra, they say, if you do this karma, you will get the result. So Shastra will be proved wrong. So the objector says that just like this body continues to exist to exhaust the prarabdha karma, similarly he should be born again to exhaust his past karmas. Bhagavan says no. The Shastra which talks about this prarabdha karma, the same Shastras talk about all karmas getting exhausted, burnt when we gain self-realization. Like in Mundakopanishad, it said, Kshiyante cha yasya karmani, all the karmas of an enlightened person gets destroyed. Brahmavid Brahmaiva bhavati, knower of Brahma becomes Brahma. And in Brahma, there is no prarabdha karma, there is no sanchita karma, there is no agami karma. So no karmas are there for this enlightened person. Tasya tavadeva chiram. Ishika tulavat sarvani karmani praduyante. Just like a blade of grass get burnt in fire, all the karmas of this enlightened person get burnt. Even in Gita we have seen in the 4th chapter, just as the blazing fire burns all the fuel, Similarly, all the karmas of this enlightened person get burnt. They are not there to give result. See, these karmas are giving result as long as we have the sense of doership. When the sense of doership is not there, all the karmas gets disintegrated. To give the modern example, let us say you have a disc, a CD in which you have recorded all your songs and dance, DVD, let us say. Your songs and dance and drama, you have recorded it. सब उसमें है. But it will get expressed only when there is a DVD player. If the player itself is not there, DVD will not get expressed. But already if you have put one DVD there and it is playing, then it will continue to play and thereafter it will stop. So similarly, the karmas which have started to exhaust as this prarabdha karma will continue to exhaust. But those karmas which have not started their journey to express, they will just get dissolved. They will just get disintegrated. They will not have any avenue for their expression. They will get disintegrated. Just like a seed. A seed has got the capacity to germinate and to produce a huge tree. That capacity is there in the seed. But what happens when you roast that seed? That all that capacity, everything gets totally destroyed. It just becomes just dust only. Similarly, as long as we have this jiva bhav, as long as we have avidya, we keep the body alive. Our sukshma sharir is also kept alive. But once that avidya is destroyed, that sukshma sharir also gets as though burnt and gets destroyed. Means it gets disintegrated and merges into the totality. Therefore, a Atmajnani is not born again. That is what is called moksha. Becomes free of all his bondage, becomes that Brahma only. He is Brahma. So that is what is said here. Bhagavan says, Sarvatha vartamanopi nasa bhuyo bhijayate. Therefore, our whole aim and goal is to recognize this Purusha as Brahma, recognize the Kshetrajna as Brahma. It is Brahma. One has to recognize. Shift one's attention there and gain that abidance in that. One has to meditate. So first we have to know through Shravan, then we have to understand through Mananam, and then we have to meditate and realize. All these three steps are important. Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasana. So through Shravan we come to understand, I was thinking that I am this Karta, Bhokta, Jnata, but no, I am the Kshetrajna. And that Kshetrajna is Brahma. Then through deep contemplation, using all the logic and rational thinking and taking help of my experience of Jagrata, Swapna, Sushupti, I come to understand that yes, the Kshetrajna, I am Brahma. So knowledge has taken place. Then I should meditate and gain abidance. That is the Nididhyasana, Dhyana. So that Dhyana Bhagavan will talk about in the next verse, that you can realize this through dhyana. Dhyanena atmani pashyanti. But if you cannot do dhyana, then Bhagavan gives some other sadhana which can help me to do that dhyana. So very interesting verse that we will see in our class tomorrow. So till then, you take care of yourself, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy, do your work, do your sadhana. Listen to this talk again, contemplate, think, understand. Even if you think you have understood, think again. We should never take the Shastra for granted. Never just be relaxed saying that, oh, I have understood everything. No. That when understanding will happen, that is a big thing, transcendental thing. It's like if you have a matchstick and you try to light it by rubbing it on the matchbox. Just by rubbing it, don't feel satisfied. Be satisfied when it gets ignited. So don't be satisfied just by listening and by thinking. Should gain that understanding and then should gain that realization. Okay? So we shall meet again tomorrow. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. Boli Siyava Ramachandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri